or hashtag DigWin, and we'll check in throughout the game to see how you're calling it. A lot of ties for first place right now. A lot of people jockeying for position. NME still having to play and remember to get themselves back in, but are going to do what they can here to get the win.
And NME, you said jockeying for position. Well, they're jockeying for a possible tiebreaker against Cloud9 to see if they get selection of which challenger team to play in relegation.
Something they know the importance of.
Oh, yeah. Well, they got auto-promoted, but they did play through Challenger. They know the strength of that scene.
Yep.
And they've been trying to recapture their glory days of Challenger.
Well, that's the thing. They avoided having to select somebody. They know the importance of not having to be in that situation. See what Dignitas does here in the beginning. We heard from Otter just previously that the aggression changes from Dignitas from Scrim to LCS stage. Sure, it does with most teams, but it seems to be throwing NME off still. We'll see how they take to it in the early game.
And NME's early game that you just brought up, they have the worst early game in terms of gold at 10 and gold at 20
that
for
difference
every
so big.
team in the North American LCS. When I got to talk to Inox, that's what they've been focusing on this past week. They had a successful game against TSM in that regard, where they ended up going even at 10 minutes and 20 minutes, having a slight gold advantage. But it was against a team composition that turned on late game. And this is an Ezreal mid, it's a Kog'Maw. You can't sit on your hands against this team, or they're going to become poke monsters.
Right.
So you have to be very aggressive with this Riven, give this Riven an advantage in the top lane, and then snowball that. Inox has the Victor. He's able, as soon as he gets 1,000 gold, to clear the back wave. He puts a lot of pressure on a Shifter. If Inox can start getting out of the lane and moving into other lanes, then they're going to have a really good time in this matchup because of their team comp.
This previous matchup, as we saw, went to Dig in week 5. Let's see how they can handle this one. Boards all the way on both sides. Looks like we will get that matched up lane. Be very nice for these duos, but everybody's going to be hovering the bottom side here to start.
And it is going to be the 2-on-2 and 1-on-1. The 1-on-1 is what I want to keep my eye on here. Jarvan versus Riven. That tiny edge, and if they get gifted some attention and resources in the top lane, can dictate the pace of the game. These are both top laners that have burst potential if they get slightly ahead. Even if they're behind, there's outplay potential in that top lane too.
Enjoy how this game pans out. Level 6 will be explosive, and the rest of the fighting phase. NME quite good at that. Give them a good grade in the fighting phase. They actually can get themselves into pretty good positioning, make things happen with some teleports. Right now, they're going to try to get themselves, like you said, through a weak early game, something they have been working on here. And so far in the laning phase, we meet up. Like you said, 2v2 in the bot, 1 in the top here, and this, the volatile lane to start off. A ward already for Flares. Kind of tells me he wants to be able to go aggressive while keeping that safety hat on to make sure Helios does not come in for help on Gamsu.
Flares got fairly lucky as well. He didn't end up missing any CS, so they're actually exactly the same experience.
Nicely played. Good timing to get himself across the map and set things up for an advantageous position. If he can get a level here, Gamsu may decide to go in, but he knows it's only 1 more CS for Flares, and they keep it safe. A little bit of jungle pressure from Helios towards the bottom, but it should just be for scuttle control. He'll get himself back into the jungle.
Yep. And Flair's just going to try to use his E, his Valor, over and over again to trade, make sure that he can chunk or chip away at Gamsu. And here comes Trashy for the first gank top. He actually has a better way into this lane than he realizes. And Gamsu, if he starts using Q to CS, it's going to make it so he doesn't have an escape available to him. That's the weakness of the top Jarvan.
Be very careful about using your escape.
Oh, gank to the bottom lane from Helios.
Gets flash on Otter already, wow.
But up top at the same time, we do see Trashy. He's going in, doesn't get the stun.
Ooh, Gamsu able to dodge out, holds the flag and drag as well. Lets NME kind of go crazy there in the beginning and just plays it patiently. Also like to play in the bot from Helios, throwing out the Prey Seeker. Would have blown the shield from Otter, which is pretty much the reason why he flashed anyways. So getting out of that situation safe, but now having to play a little more careful with that flash down. Oh, Kiwi Kid. A little more careful. A little bit of a taunt here. He gets himself out. Won't be too much damage to take in lane. He should be all right.
He's still got 3 biscuits. He's got 1 to spare over body drop, and he has the charges, so he's going to be fine.
Top lane 26 to 21. Gamsu pretty much missing that CS off of getting pressured in the top lane here. Dignitas, much different team than what we saw coming into the summer, or spring split, I should say. A bit stronger, but the summer split grew as well, and they were beating, as we said, top teams in the first half of the split.
It was a new Dignitas lineup. Start of the year, they didn't have Gamsu, they didn't have Core JJ, they didn't have Helios, it was just Kiwi Kid and Shifter. And they brought on all these guys, not Helios just yet, because spring split, they ended up having that jungler swap. They were trying to find what worked. They ended up being one game away from not being in the LCS anymore on Dignitas' side. One game away. One game.
So crazy.
Honestly, one play, and Kiwi Kid made that play
Kiwi
for
Kid
them.
Alistar headbutt, pulverize.
But then after that, they came back, summer split, changed junglers near the start, got Helios in, and they had this gigantic surge where they were beating top teams.
Yeah. And that was with some of the changes, too, they saw throughout the entire season. A lot of these teams find a sub, and the sub hurts a little too much to keep things going. Inox, he gets the gravity field down, but he gets locked back as well. Good full team roam, pretty much, coming from Dignitas towards the mid lane to start things off.
And Kiwi Kid, man, this guy is just all in charge of those playmakings.
Yep.
Him and Helios alongside each other, the shot callers, the guys who go back and forth and be very vocal on the team. Let's shut down Inox. Let's shut down this guy and give Shifter a lane where he's AP Ezreal. He's not feeling the pressure just yet. He's even in CS. Trashy though. Helios, is he even looking?
Oh, he gets the phase dive in. Time Winder goes out. Flares gets exploded by the initial damage. They trade 1 for 1. Gamsu's going to be locking down Trashy. May be able to get the ult in, but doesn't actually want it. Does not actually know where Inox is coming from in the lane, but plays back and forth. That's 2 kills for Dig. They do get Gamsu going a little bit, and we said once that lane goes one side, it could get bad for the other player.
Flares didn't even get an assist on that. That's the bad part for NME. It was just a flat kill, so more gold going over to Dignitas.
Good point, sorry.
Overall, just off that play. But Trashy wants more.
Parallel convergence.
No mana.
Should be able to see that, but good call. No mana, no flag and drag. Trashy stays for the kill, and he was setting that up for a few seconds there.
That was big because Flares ends up getting a free wave by himself. If Gamsu is pressured to use his TP to the top lane and doesn't want to miss out on that CS, like I said, very volatile top lane. It goes back and forth, it waxes and wanes. We're seeing that jungle attention immediately to the top lane for that exact reason.
So a little cooldown and pen going in for Gamsu.
There's the
choice
TP.
For Pickaxe coming in from Flares. And he does have to get to the top lane. So TP down for Gamsu now. TP up for Flares could be a big play there now that we have 6 on those top laners with their ultimates up. A little bit of pressure to body drop as he's getting pushed out of his jungle during his roam from top to bottom. Still trying to set up plays and wards for the team to keep Inox safe. Flares goes hard, gets the stun down, but he also gets stuck in. His dash going to come up soon. He's able to get out of Cataclysm, but he cannot fight Gamsu right now.
He had flash still. He's being super conservative about using his summoners. This means that Flares most likely has a play in mind for some place on the map, but he's not going to be able to do it anymore. He's probably going to have to TP top now, use that just to catch waves so he doesn't even fall further behind. That was big. I don't know what Flares was doing. He was waiting on the E, and it's just not worth it at that point.
Nice hook. Causes body drop to go all in. You kind of think if Flares can dodge a few of the Q attacks,
there's the TP,
then he might be able to win, but yeah, staying so close, just taking all the damage. Seems to have misplayed it a little bit, or thought he was a little more powerful with the Pickaxe buy to come back maybe, just straight up.
Well, Pickaxe versus Brutalizer. Brutalizer's going to win every day. It's got the same damage as Pickaxe, more cooldown reduction armor pen. I don't know what he was thinking when he went in for those trades. And it looked like he initiated them too.
The ultimate would pretty much get him in the win of the fight maybe.
Yeah, when you use all 3 of your Qs on Riven, you're not going to be able to get out of the ultimate, especially if you just used your Valor.
Yeah. So we'll see if he can keep his head on straight. Just a few plays back and forth, but he is 0-2-0, and it becomes a tough game when Riven cannot get herself going. To the bottom side of the map, Helios uses the farm alarm to get into position here. Looks like they may just try to trade over blue, and then maybe get something to save this bottom lane. Still 3 pressure coming in from NME as they wait patiently to try and get a kill on top of the core JJ here.
Yeah, Otter has that farm advantage though, so it is ballooning a little bit for them. Problem though is the late game scaling. And look at this, Helios caught it. Oh, they got his E. He doesn't have it. No flash either.
NME being the aggressive team here. Otter was saying he wasn't sure how to gauge Dignitas' aggression, but I guess you gauge it by doing the same thing.
Helios ended up using his tunnel as the knockup was coming through, so it interrupted the tunnel and stopped the move block. No flash available. That puts Dragon on the table for NME.
Helios out. They know where the pressure is on the map. Don't even have to call down Flares. Really good things for the start of NME here. And while it still comes to be 10 minutes, they're down in gold. They're closing a bit of the gap that they usually are near 1,000. They've cut it in half. There's still a lot more potential here for them to get this game.
But it's still so concerning. All the kills are onto Trashy, the jungler, onto Echo.
That's a good point, looking down at it.
There's no assists onto Flares. There's one on both of your support and AD carry.
Yeah.
The gold distribution here is not ideal, whereas you look at Dignitas and they have a decent amount on Gamsu. Gamsu's sitting in that lane 24/7. That's the difference between having kills on your jungler and your top laner, is your top laner is always using that gold and those combat stats to fight against another force. Jungler, that gold comes out of lanes and goes to other ones. Lantern, though, looking for body drop. They're not going to find him. Trashy's off on the wings. It doesn't look like they want to take this, though. But back to my point, having all the gold on a jungler means your jungler has to be very active and get that gold into lanes.
It's now on him. Trashy's got to make moves. Usually on that Gragas and Rek'Sai play, he's more than used to getting his hands dirty, getting into the action here.
Yeah, you have to have presence, because this Jarvan is always going to beat his head against this Riven, and he's got 2 kills up, he's got 13 CS, and that CS advantage is only going to grow because he gets to zone him out, because he never has a chance to fight from enemy side.
Punishing Gamsu here. We're going to say it was one or the other. Flares was either going to get this lane, or Gamsu was again going to have a troubling Jarvan game here. It seems like he's got enough help from Helios and really a solo kill in his lane to keep things going. Top lane pressure is going to happen now for this turret. Start to open up the map finally. Usually in those swap lanes, we'll get these turrets down already and things are moving, but this is just time to really set it up. They're going to light the barbecue here.
Shifter. If it hits, that's the go sign.
Oh! Not going to be able to do much body trap, but he gets caught in. Gamsu actually breaks the Cataclysm quick so everybody can get to their target. A nice Lantern out, and they choose correctly to get out of there with body drop and no more vision on the rest of enemy. Good plays by Dig here to get themselves in the lead.
They're picking on Flares. Flares' performance in these last few games have not been good at all. 1-4 on Nautilus, 0-5 on Fizz, 2-7 on Maokai, and then you go even further back. 1-5 on Aurelia, 0-5 Nautilus. Ever since their win against TDK, Flares has been in a gigantic slump, and they seem to be preying on that on Dignitas' side. And another part about that play, when the True Shot Barrage comes by, it keys off go, and Shifter gets an assist off the back of it. The gold distribution that Dignitas is getting here is really helping them get to that point where they get past enemies early game, team composition, Riven shut down, Jarvan's now online, has full pressure in that lane, and then eventually Ezreal, just by being Ezreal, is going to have pressure in this lane, and then Kog'Maw will have pressure. You just have to wait for these spikes, and Dignitas is doing a good job of doing that.
He was able to stay incredibly safe in lane the whole time. 2 assists for nothing is pretty good for Shifter. He's been able to keep pretty equal CS with Inox throwing lasers down in that mid lane. Enemy now trying to take a little bit of control back in this one. Really need to get some of those damage dealers more kills. Inox and Flares hopefully able to join a few of these fights soon. Towards the top side, we're going to see more action. They saw the ward cover Trashy leaving, so Helios makes his way up.
And the ward coverage from Dignitas, since they had full control of that top side, is now theirs. They get to dictate everything that happens in that top lane. Nothing happens without eyes on that top lane from Dignitas. It's like they even see Trashy come into this lane. They know this is a 2-on-2. And they're still going to pick it because they have a gold advantage. Yomu's Ghostblade completed versus a Brutalizer pickaxe on Flares.
Look how aggressive Gamsu is being. Saying, yep, I got this gigantic Winion wave. Nobody's going to fight him in that anyways. So they're going to see him in the ward. And ping the mid lane here. Looks like we're going to have Inox trying to push that wave he's telling them. Will they try to do anything? Now it's Trashy in the brush that Dignitas just got a kill on Flares in.
There's a pink ward in there. He still hasn't cleared it yet.
Nope. He will soon.
There we go. Finally cleared the pink ward. Helios playing babysitter to his fed top laner, making sure they don't shut him down. It's very predictable though. When you have a volatile top lane, you get an advantage. You know they want to fight you.
They got volatile too fast because it slowed down. He does in fact get the hook. Body drop has no escape on this one. Voidoo's keeping him in range, but Otter able to push them off. Should have kept going forward, but Core JJ was out of mana. The flash flame from Kiwi Kid.
Turnaround.
Core JJ's out of mana here. This could actually be pretty bad. A nice boomerang coming back across. The minion wave meets. Too much disruption for the fight, and both teams don't want it anymore. Summoners all blown, but Core JJ's flash is still up on that side.
And that ward that was placed in that bottom side rush is actually a big problem, the one that just got pinged. Because Gamsu has his TP, and they know Flares doesn't because he just used it, Gamsu has the potential to make a play on this bot lane. You cannot walk forward as Otter and Body Drop until you clear that ward out.
Okay, Shifter picks up the Magi Soul Stealer. Looks like it's going to be a stacking game for Shifter's Ezreal in the mid lane this time. They're 15 minutes in.
Him.
And he is yet to stack it as he just bought it. Flares gets taken down the moment he is up. It seems like he cannot keep himself on the map because Dignitas is just prioritizing him over and over again. It's been a tough game for him.
Oh, and they see that it's been a tough game for Flares. 0-4, shutting him down. Shifter has a Magi Soul Stealer already. Second item, AP Ezreal. I assume he's just going to start shooting his True Shot barrages off to the sides, getting assists, and trying to stack that up very slowly over time. But eventually, he's hoping for that 20 stack.
Well, a good job by NME to keep themselves in here, stealing resources left and right, making sure Dignitas doesn't get big leads with little things. Otter's clearing out bot turret here. Start to open up the map just a little bit. When you get these 2v2 lanes, things really tend to slow down unless the jungle pressure becomes very big. Helios was able to do a bit of that. He has 3 kill participation out of the 5. So not too shabby for himself. 4 for Gamsu. So you can tell a lot of that action has just been in the top lane.
For the blue.
Oh, not gonna get it. A little early. Always worth a shot though.
But he gets to clear out the mid wave.
Yep. So
see how many Inox ends up losing for that.
Infinity Edge to Triforce has just come out for the 80 carries as well, so a good burst there could be very, very useful at the first dragon, or second dragon I should say. Could be first for Dignitas.
Oh, Flares.
Oh, that Q damage.
Flares keeps playing like he's ahead in this lane and just has an enormous advantage, but you're 0-4. You need to reel it back a little bit. You have as many deaths as the enemy top laner has kill participation, so
you almost have to play like that sometimes.
Yeah, you might have wanted to play like that a little while earlier before that. Because that top lane was equalized. The CS was very close for a while. Like I said, it keeps ballooning.
Especially
that, and there's the TP to the ward.
That kill to come back.
Still has ulti.
Oh my
Slam.
word! That's the Tiamat coming in. Big damage. Gamsu's coming up big on the Jarvan once again for Dignitas here. 7-3, 18 minutes. They're going to start moving on to the Dragon.
That's the type of play that they were looking for. They knew the TP was not up for Flares because they kept camping that top lane. And then they used Gamsu to make a play bottom off of Flares' back when he went for that awful trade top. Flares is honestly costing NME this game.
Unfortunate that
it's true.
It can't. Well, the selection of champion as well in way of comfort, still very risky because once this happens, you almost have no chance to come back. Save, you get everybody low health and you hit a beautiful wind slash. Come the next dragon fight, right? There's still that chance, but a very far off chance here with the way Dig is positioning, how they're entering fights, and the way they're taking consideration of everything. Flares once again. Even though you're with the team, if you're the caboose still is not safe. You gotta be careful. Unfortunate there. He was just following Trashy, but Dig's still all over him.
Dig is kicking the puppy right now. That's just a gold bag in the top, and they just keep revisiting it. Trash is gonna go aggressive here. Don't know if they can actually get away with this. We'll see.
Flash not up for Kiwi Kid here. He's gonna go down. Helios able to get out with Shifter. Chaos Storm not doing too much as there's not much AP on Inox just yet. NME is now struggling to get their core items finished here.
Oh, Rek'Sai behind. Here comes the TP play. Rek'Sai is still behind them. They can turn on Helios right now.
Flares is in. The full gap closer used by him to get into range. He's gonna have to run towards the top side now. Everybody from NME onto Helios. Look at what Dig is now getting in the mid lane. NME's gonna continue chasing. Inox has peeled off, understanding that they need to be cleared, as Body Drop is also making his way there. It's already gone though. The map's even more opened up for Dignitas now. And Helios may just get an execute here. Minions could have kept that attack damage on him, but we'll see. And boop. Nicely played. He swims himself to safety, if you will.
They get no kill.
Nope.
They use their TP, and they lose mid lane for that play. NME get nothing out of it. They lose pressure, and they lose a turret. Dignitas are just playing way more calculated this game.
Yeah.
It is still rather strange. But Gamsu when his Jarvan gets snowballing, he's going to take over the game. When they first had that large kick in their first half of the season, he had a 6-4 and 12 Jarvan game, that enormous fight in the mid lane that happened where he got rolling. This just happened in the laning phase. Now he gets the snowball out of the laning phase off of the help of Helios and his team.
He was playing crazy in the beginning. Just looking back at some of the stats, 11-0-10 that Hecarim game versus Impulse in week 4. His Gnar games where he set up Shifter for the pentakill. Body drop getting caught out now. What would you ever think that they're just chilling there when nobody's pushing the top lane? No.
Probably not.
Probably not. But they get body drop for it, and Gamsu is just hitting everything in his Jarvan combos, from Qs to flags and the cataclysms in the right spot. Any of that misses, and somebody's going to walk away, right? That combo will zero somebody out, but he's been nailing every bit of it.
We've got ridiculous damage at this point. He's at 250 AD, and his Q does about 450.
Last Whisper, Youmuu's, Tiamat.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Even just the flat base damage. 450 versus Otter's HP pool of 1,400. You chain all his abilities together, you get an auto in there with his passive and his R, which is doing about 600 damage already. Yeah. Otter doesn't stand a chance.
You're already killing the next person halfway there. You've turned away from Riven already.
Yeah, it depends on how many people you actually get your shish kebab Q.
The shish kebab Q. I like it. We'll see what he can serve up for the rest of the team. Across the board, everybody's been able to participate for Dig. A little bit of action and extra money in the pocket here. It means pink wards and more forward wards that are helping them. Trashy looking to get himself something and the team an assist here. That's going to be the depth charge that keeps Helios in place. Dig's looking to ping Baron on this. A lot of focus down to the bot side of the map, and they are on the worm.
Bold call there, but nobody's going to be able to stop this. They don't even have globals available. The pings come out. Maybe it's happening, and it's gone already. 22-minute Baron for Dignitas.
Second time they tunnel on to just
but
one
Inox
kill.
He still has to check it. They don't have vision.
On the wrong side of the map, too. What a dangerous path to walk through. Inox goes down there. Dignitas running amok on this one, doing everything they can to shut down a person if they see them. Make sure that turret goes down if it's anywhere near in front of them.
And just to give an idea of how this game has been going. Oh, we get to follow it! I know there's at one point where it wasn't following it properly, and you only see him for a split second. That actually makes me happy. That's really cool. But
body drop! Not going to be too happy. He did get the anchor toss over to the wall. That means he get a bit of cooldown. He might be able to use it once again towards the Raptor Pit or get himself towards red. Raptor Pit grab. It's going to be Prey Seek.
EQ.
And he just gets the Riptide out. Time Winder's going to slow everybody down, but they speed it back up. Body drop still goes down, and they are going to get another kill. Like I said, once Dignitas sees somebody, they take that person down.
And just to give you an idea of how this game has been going, Gamsu has participated in 9 out of the 11 kills.
Pretty
good.
The
next highest person has participated in 5 out of the 11.
Yeah.
4 less kills. Gamsu is all over the map, and once you got him snowballing, he's able to take over the lane, and then he spills that over to other lanes. It's the whole kind of avalanche effect from the top lane.
It happens a lot more than not when you have Gamsu being the guy that gets ahead in the league. He did it in his Rise games. We mentioned the Hecarim one earlier. His Gnar, where he teleported in to make sure they had a good fight with Shifter.
Yeah.
He's really on point with getting where the team's going to be fighting.
Though, not on point. Out of position, no. Oh, deleted.
Down, Trashy goes in, thinking the team has a bit of an advantage here with the turret to fight on. A box for the re-engage completely shuts out enemy. And Shifter in a bad spot. Win/kill does not go over to Flares, though. He only gets an assist on that. It goes over to Trashy, the guy who already has 4 kills. Unfortunate there. Flares flash in, he gets the stun down, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Here's the TP from Gamsu. I wouldn't put it past him that he's going to fly through the turret, and he gets a crush down right onto Flares. That turret wasn't even there for him.
Oh man, Gamsu, this is the guy that halfway through the split, when Dignitas had only lost 2 games in the first half, was in the conversation for being possibly the best top lane carry in North America. This is him looking back to form.
Definitely puts the carry pants on, cooks for the team. He serves up the kills as well. Dragon goes down, number 2 for Dig, number 3 of the game. So there is a stall towards the 5th one, but we'll take a look again here at this. Once Inox goes down, it seems NME still wants to fight in some capacity, which usually should be turned off right away.
Yeah, they're waiting for the flank. They're waiting for Otter to come up the gut. And he gets there with the ulti, but he really doesn't get to do anything in this fight. And meanwhile, Gamsu is shoving bottom, getting damage on this turret.
Yeah, and before he TPs.
And as soon as Flares goes for this play, Gamsu TPs in, and then he's able to turn around.
This is his map. He's putting up Gamsu flags everywhere right now. Unfortunately, oh no, they did get that. I was going to say,
oh
did
man,
not go to them, but they get it.
Helios with the Zeke's Herald by. Very supportive jungler.
Yeah, very supportive for a jungler indeed.
It's very good in this
interesting.
team. It's very good in this team composition. Even when you think about it from a lifesteal perspective, Ezreal Q will apply on hit effects.
So much free time for one member or another, especially even the AD carry to be here by himself. They have a bit of a defensive wall and champions on the way there, but he is just having a field day with turrets.
Flares.
Helios and Flares going 1v1 toe-to-toe, but Gamsu feels like he wants to jump in. Drops the Cataclysm right away. Price Seeker gets him.
This is brutal. Dignitas, they're the team that's in 6th right now. They're the team that knows they're locked into that last playoff spot. Whoever ends up 3rd has to play this Dignitas that's looking like they're having a bit of a surge here at the end of the season. And that's what they're all about right now. They know they're locked into 6th. They're just playing to get their mojo back.
Right. We also have to look at TDK, or Enemy's comp, I should say, and know that they came in picking champions. Also that they wanted to play this game. The Riven, a very risky pick. Flares knew that. Didn't pay off, so you kind of have to deal with that. He made his bed. He's going to have to sleep in it.
Yeah, they had the goal of winning the early game, and especially against Dignitas' comp with Ezreal, Kog'Maw, you'd think you'd be able to win the early game. But it was all focused on that top lane, and it got out of control. And when this late game composition beats you early game, and they're already 10,000 gold up at 27 minutes.
The top lane could have been a big what if for this game.
Oh, Core JJ out of position though.
They're going to walk straight up to him to get the passive shot on. Very well played by Body Drop. They had the Sivir ultimate to get in. So a few kills here and there. That is a shutdown. Not too many of those to be had. Dig still has a few kills that went their way, so their gold isn't too big to be rewarded over on the side of enemy for these kills just yet. Banner of Command built up by Kiwi Kid, so now even more trouble and kind of multitasking on enemy's plate here to make sure their lanes are pushed up. Baron in 1 minute. I'm sure Dignitas is going to pressure enemy into that fight, no doubt about it. They already have about 5 pick boards on that area.
But when you have this type of gold lead this early on, you definitely want to pick that fight. Kog'Maw's online, double attack speed items.
Yep.
Shifter has his death cap completed. His Magize is still at 5 stacks.
Yeah.
Hasn't gotten anything off of that. Got some assists, ended up dying. And this is the point in the game where you would see a Jarvan fall off in the top lane. But when you're 7-1-4, it's a very long time before you start falling off.
So what's his consideration? Just more damage, doesn't get much out of lifesteal to go fully to Hydra, so he went the F-Sword?
Well, the difference between the Hydra and the Tiamat is about 35 damage.
Okay.
So the BF Sword gives you 50, and he's just looking to blow people up on contact.
Had the money, why not spend it?
He doesn't even have boots. Boots don't give you damage. He just wants to burst.
He's got brown bags.
He's essentially the person who dives in, weakens everybody, so that Shifter can blow them up with AoE spells, so that Core JJ can siege them from far.
Flares is all about the no boots. He's running around, getting his toes stepped on right now.
Step on a rock.
Yeah, you're done. Maybe there's a Lego piece somewhere.
Oh man,
you're done.
Oh, you tilted me.
Who knows?
Triggered me.
Where are they going to go with this? Dignitas in such control of this game. What a dominating game one to start day 2 here. They definitely came to play and are really giving enemies some trouble. Live is the Baron, 1 minute on to Dragon, and this only gives Dignitas more opportunities to get into the fights they want.
They see each other.
Let's see how quick this is. There's the Yo moves, that's the hit. Hydras go off on both sides. Wow, flashes right out. For a second, I couldn't tell if he was going to be able to get take him down.
And whoever wins that bottom fight got Baron priority because their top laner's alive with TP. That's exactly why Gamsu wanted to pick that fight. Trashy, is he gonna get hooked? What's gonna happen?
Hewitt doesn't try to go for it, living artillery over the side. Kiwi Kid missing just on that hook. Ooh. Almost down to the entire team, which have made it a nice fight for Dignitas to follow through on. Maybe the hook, it does get body drop. They actually dodge out of the gravity field. Nice moves by Helios and Kiwi Kid to not fully walk right into that. And they still have a chance to pursue this fight. Moving up, they have all the coverage behind them if they're to retreat, but I don't think that's even an option. They don't have to.
Dignitas with the Baron buff. Shoving down mid lane, looking to get this turret. They're going to get it very quickly as soon as Gamsu gets a piece of it as well.
Parallel convergence. Unfortunately, Trashy did not make it inside the circle. No stun, just slows. And they are backing off. Don't think it would have been too much of a fight. They're just deterring Dignitas from getting to the turret. Once again, though, the minion wave is all they need. A few more shots, and one's going to get it. The minions should be able to take it down. The fight's going to happen, though. Enemy don't have a turret to run under anymore. They left it as soon as it died, and Dignitas takes that into consideration. Still moving through with Baron minions. Otter uses the heal. Didn't have his spell shield up from just using it. Quite a long cooldown, and they take advantage of it.
Dignitas, they're going to end the game at 31 minutes. If they were looking for their playoff mojo, they might be getting it here. They have this banner of commanded minion up, and it's got Baron buff.
NME was able to take the previous game to 57 minutes. Not today, though. Dignitas was able to find a spot in the armor to just dive right in, get under the skin of NME, and take them down. Dignitas